For many, the details of our criminal justice system are unknown, and the details of our juvenile justice system you may go without even ever thinking about. However, it is important as a citizen to know and understand social institutions. In order to know and understand social institutions, you must first know the history. Today, I'm going to tell you about how the juvenile justice system began, how the juvenile courts began, and the theory of the super predator. According to Nell Bernstein in her book, Burning Down the House, the first juvenile prison was opened in January of 1825 in New York City and was named the New York House of Refuge. It was originally formed by a group called the Prevention of Pauperism and was formed to keep juveniles out of adult prisons. It was also formed to teach juveniles education and to teach them about jobs after they get out of prison and to help them after they get out of these juvenile institutions to stay out of adult prisons. Within 2 months of the House of Refuge being opened, it received $2,000 a year in state funding. The juveniles at that time were not afforded due process, allowing the House of Refuge to ride around and pick up juveniles for a number of reasons, some of those reasons which may not actually be crimes. This became a form of social control used to ride around neighborhoods with mostly immigrants and picking them up and putting them in juvenile institutions. 1860. By 1860, the House of Refuge went from 9 to 560 residents. They were able to raise funds to create a new building that could hold 1,200 residents by putting these children to work. They also kept working these children in order to create funds after they built the building. With the rise of immigrant population, also came creating more juvenile institutes, and soon thereafter, by the end of the 1800s, there was actually juvenile institutes in every single state in the U.S. Which brings us to 1899, and that was the beginning of the juvenile courts. It began in Illinois by the Illinois legislation, which formed the juvenile court by the Juvenile Court Act of 1899, giving juveniles a chance to be remanded into informatories. If that installation was replicated really quick, just like juvenile institutions, and was very quickly created in every single state. This takes us to close to 100 years later with the beginning of the super predator. In 1966, there was a book called Body Count that was written by William J. Bennett, which was where we first got the idea of the super predator. The super predator was supposed to be a new era of criminals which did not care about the law, they didn't care about punishments, and they did not care about moral or ethical standards whatsoever. Really quick, I'm going to show you a quick video to show how the media portrayed the super predator. The volume may be really low.
Turn it over here. Jack, you want to hit TV?
A jogger murdered in New York York's Central Park. A little girl gunned down in her family's car in Los Angeles.
A judge has sentenced 2 boys for killing another child who refused to steal candy for them.
There's a tidal wave of juvenile violent crime right over the horizon.
And some who study it say the worst is yet to come.
Life in the 1990s was dominated by a sense that youth violence was out of control. The future looked bleak. To explain why, one word said it all.
Super predators.
Some social scientists and criminologists looked at the data and saw doom. They stepped out of their ivory towers and into the public arena to sound the alarm about a coming wave of kids who were going to ravage the country.
So that was how the media portrayed the super predator, which created a huge spike in the law and how they punished juveniles and all over the nation. So laws really got harsher. This theory was proved to be false, though, very soon after it was introduced, but those laws continue to be the same. Which brings us to now 2015. Thanks to the House of Refuge, which started the juvenile justice system, to the creation of the juvenile courts and the super predator scare that we had back in the 1990s, we now have the juvenile justice court, the juvenile justice system that we have today. Thank you.